My name is Renee Blunden. I think of myself as an artist of experience. My passion is to create transformational freediving experiences for myself and others as a way to explore what it means to truly live. My central exploration is to live in an understanding of what I would call the deep dive of your true self. To me, this is to live courageously in pursuit of what you are meant to discover, in diving deep into what life asks of you. So much of how I live has been informed by my passion as a freediver. I'm following the journey of my own dives and reporting back. This show is a regular broadcast from wherever I happen to be stationed. Currently, that's in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am your host, Renee Blunden. My goal is to train and compete in freediving during my service in the U.S. Air Force. I aim to explore the archetype of the mystic in the water while honing my skills as a freediver and cultivating a community of fellow freediving enthusiasts wherever I journey. These are my stories and reflections. November 12th, 2024, Safety Diver 3rd, journal entry. Status report is that it's still a heck of a challenge training freediving in the pool, but also very rewarding. Today, I've decided I will do a maximum attempt freedive in the discipline of dynamic apnea with a monofin. I'll swim underwater in the pool as far as I can on a single breath of air. Various thoughts are running through my head at the pool as I put on my swim cap and goggles at 5:03 a.m. I think about this concept of safety in freediving. As someone who's been training freediving for quite a while now, and who has also taught many people how to freedive, I personally think that safety in freediving occurs in 3 phases. The first phase, and probably the most important, is to develop a mindset with an awareness of your mind and body that you live in. And this is long before doing any max attempt freedives. It's a voice that's always whispering inside of you. It says, forward thinking, planning, risk assessment, contingencies, technique, mitigation. The voice is always whispering. The second phase of safety in freediving is how you go about handling the most challenging aspects of the dive itself. And then the third phase, if necessary, is rescue by a safety diver, which is a result, obviously, of the first 2 phases, hence Safety Diver 3rd. Mostly the first and second phases done well will mitigate any need for a rescue by the safety diver. So basically, you are safe by your own means. What's on my mind today as I enter the water is that the water temperature is colder than usual, which is going to mean no warm-up dives. Otherwise, I'll be shivering by the time I do the max attempt, which will increase my heart rate and lower my breath hold time. Experience. Planning. I'm aware that in the shallow end, I must change my turn technique because it's too shallow for my usual underwater flip turn. So I've got to do a Catarina turn in order to adapt to the pool. Forward thinking. I plan my dive in my head and choose a minimum distance that would be challenging, but not pushing like hell, a distance around 80 to 90% of my PB. I choose this distance in order to avoid any issue or blackout. Mitigation. With all of this done right, I have the opportunity to have an incredible dive, a dive with extraordinary sensations that is peaceful, calm, yet aware. I stand relaxed in the water, and I take my last breath, and then I dive into the dimly lit water, strewn with orange glows of the sunrise pouring through floor-to-ceiling windows. I swim underwater, and I count. 1, 2, glide. 1, 2, glide. I glide past a swimmer in the next lane over and can hear her movements splashing on the surface, echoing into the water below. I swim past her, back into the peace and quiet. Awareness. There is a great joy to being underwater on a single breath of air at 5 a.m. The pool is bustling with swimmers, but the vibe underwater is completely relaxed. I wonder if it's the colorful reflections on the bottom of the pool that draw my attention today to what is always there. I'm astounded by how the perfectly asymmetrical fractal patterns of sacred geometry emerge out of water ripples. What order of emergent order paints patterns on the bottom of the pool? Almost as I'm thinking that, I remember Daryek Cheshem Beham Zaran Migozarad, in Farsi meaning it passes in the blink of an eye. With my arms overhead, resting on the back of my head, I know this is a fleeting moment. It feels like I'm slicing through the water. It's as if a great energy current is flowing through me. Technique. 1, 2, glide. 1, 2, glide. I'm learning that freediving can also be mindful. 1, 2, glide. Katarina turn. 1, 2, glide. I'm aware of my thoughts. In fact, I think of this idea that we live inside the mind of God. Am I then swimming through the mind of a daydreaming God? In fact, as I think about this, I realize the awareness and presentness. Whether training myself, doing safety dives, or teaching students, freediving has been a place where I've practiced mindfulness for years without really thinking about it. Now the diaphragmatic contractions get stronger and the dive becomes harder. Slow down. I know there's a turn coming up. Forward thinking. I turn, but I come out of it sideways, with my monofin twisting slightly and the corner of it hitting the wall. I notice it right away and quickly correct myself, reorienting myself to the line on the bottom of the pool. Technique. Then I assess my situation of the dive. Experience. I become aware of my mental state, my contractions, and assess how much more I think I can go while still leaving some gas in the tank. Contingencies. None of this is done with fear. It's natural to me. Practice. I learned from excellent freedivers, instructors, and coaches this way to freedive that I would call relaxed, deliberate awareness, self-assessment, then take action if needed. In great freedivers, the reaction to the most difficult part of the dive, which is usually the last part of the dive, is paradoxical. You must notice the low oxygen state instantly and compute how close you are to your limit, yet deal with this by being present, deliberate, and ordered. I'm realizing I need to take this to other parts of my life too. I decide to come up from the dive, so I break the surface and immediately hold the edge of the pool for support as I do my recovery breathing. I'm careful not to drop into the mindset of, oh, I'm done now, I'm fine. Instead, I remain alert and keep breathing. The idea of the recovery breathing is just that, to recover. In fact, many LMCs and blackouts happen on the surface because people think the dive is finished, but it's not over yet. You still have to refill your gas tank. I recover, and this feeling of joy and peace fills me with an incredible sense of accomplishment. All of this before 5:30 in the morning. The highest form of martial arts is always the avoidance of conflict or problems. And in freediving, you can think of the water as the black belt. Having a problem such as a blackout or an LMC requiring rescue by a safety diver should really be a last resort kind of thing, which happens only when boundaries have been in some way fundamentally crossed. My dive has been safe through awareness, through practice, through the safety mindset. The safety mindset is so different from the need to be safe. I suspect in life that we have forgotten the first and been a bit overrun by the second. I'm inclined to think that we don't need safe spaces. We need to find out how to go beyond safe spaces with more awareness. A safety mindset allows you to go where life is, beyond the world's definition of safe, into the alive, but not naively, wisely. While doing a max attempt in freediving, or just any time I'm freediving in the pool, I'm just careful. I'm careful about how long I hold my breath for. I take care about the contractions and getting too low on oxygen, both of which could be signaling a possible blackout about to happen. I'm mindful that I'm swimming underwater, and that's also where I could possibly black out. There's no fear in it, just awareness and understanding. And if I'm honest with myself, I can't say that for other areas in my life. There are definitely places where there is still fear instead of awareness and understanding. But the water has a way, and if you know it, it's so honest and clear. In the water, everything makes such perfect sense to me. But there are things in my life and in me that I just know less well. And I should imagine that there are these unknown depths in all of our lives. How can we go deeper into them, creating more safety as we go, developing a safety mindset, the awareness, planning, technique, taking time to develop experience, going slowly, learning its ways. I've read about how many successful people have a way of transferring high levels of competence from one area of life into other areas. It's as if they understand the dynamics of competence itself. This is what I must do now. Transfer my safety mindset in freediving to uncharted things, to other parts of my life, relationships, new endeavors, creative projects, life transitions, new beginnings. There's so much I have to learn, but at least I have a way I know. I think there's an art form to creating safety in uncharted places because I know people who do this. All of my mentors have an amazing ability to create safety around them, but also transformation. How do I become that person through all the dimensions of my life? How could you? Not needing to be safe, but willing to go with an open alertness, planning and guidance into a place beyond safety, where life happens safely. This is where I must go. When I was in Tanzania, I remember several of my friends back home sent me messages along the lines of, "Will you ever return here?" I can tell you that even though I've been back in the US for 2.5 years now, I'm certain that the person who left can never really return. the impact of those 12 years abroad has been so deep. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast with Renee Blunden. Visit my website at reneeblunden.com or subscribe to this podcast in your favorite podcast player. Please rate and review this podcast so that more people can find and enjoy it.